Hey, so how's it, guys? I thought I'd make this video presentation very basic, but I think it's important to explain to existing new Karatbar affiliates, those of you that might be struggling a bit to even just get the point across to some of your prospects as to what it is this is about. I'm sure, like most of us, you sitting battling with just even capturing people's attention as to what this is, and you've been dealing with a lot of rejection. I know we all have. You'd mention, I mean, where do you start? This is a gold-backed or a gold-based crypto, and the minute you mention that, somebody will throw back at you, geez, I know somebody on Bitcoin that had Bitcoin and he saw his backside and blah blah. No, not interested, thanks. And they switch off, and that's what it is. Okay, and you're going to deal with that all the time. I think what's important is that if you actually understand yourself as an affiliate, or a prospective affiliate, what this business is actually about. And if you found this video on YouTube because of some of the tabs that I've put in here as to the fact that this is wealth preservation, wealth creation, and you actually don't understand what this presentation is about. It's not a I'm not just punting the fact that there's a business that's involved in a very good way to preserve and help you grow your wealth. I'm talking just as a pure investment type client that might be looking for an alternative means to grow wealth or create wealth for that matter. This is something that you might want to consider. So I've put together this really basic presentation. I don't think it's really all that brilliant at all. There's a lot better stuff. If you even go to Karatbars, go into your dashboard, look down at the bottom on the right hand side, you'll see the latest presentation. And what I will say is the most important thing you can do as an affiliate is get bums in the seats, take them to the presentation. I could talk to you here for 2 hours and not even come close to making you understand exactly what this company is all about. The presentations, the senior guys, the leaders that do the presentations, they really know their stuff. They're really good at what they do. I advise you highly, get to those presentations. I know in Johannesburg we have a fair amount. Pretoria, there's a couple. Boksburg, those areas around South Africa. Durban, I know Susie Jenkins in Cape Town's doing a marvelous job with her presentation. So guys, get to the presentations. If you don't know what this business is about, find a presentation. Mail me. I'll put my mail address here in the description of this video. If you've never spoken to anybody about Karatbars or whatever, and you're trying to maybe get hooked up with this thing, send me a mail and we'll help you get there. Those of you that are affiliates or that have been sent this presentation, get back to the person, the sponsor that actually referred you, go back to them and drag their asses to get you to a presentation. You'll understand better and so will they. Okay, it's very important. Okay, so this presentation is just my spin on what I think. If you really understood, you'd know how to actually approach people with this thing. Okay, so what it boils down to is we're rethinking why and how to secure and grow your future wealth. This is a separate option to something you might be doing at the moment. You are an investor type person, you've got loads of money, you've invested in property, you've invested in antiques, cars, stocks and shares and whatever it is that people do for investments. Well, this is one I really think that might tickle your fancy. This is something pretty unique, completely new in this industry, in a new blockchain-enabled type of environment. This is something you might want to actually consider. In short, we go to work, we have a job, and we earn money, and what do we do with that money? Well, we go through a working day, earning working day hours. Some of us work 8 hours a day, most of us. Others might only work 3 hours a day. Some of us just work 16 hours a day. And the point is that we earn an income and we spend it on all the expenses that we need to survive and actually function as a family or as a unit or whatever the case is. So amongst things, we're paying rent or bonds on or mortgages on our houses. We're paying for the car that we drive or the transportation that we use. We have to eat. We have to put our kids through school. We have a water bill. We have electricity bill. And we have a social life. So those are the things that we spend our income on. And if we're fortunate, we might end up with a surplus enough that allows us to spending money on investments or the odd holiday and all those emergency things that might happen. Kid falls off a tree and breaks an arm, and those things you need to fund. So that's what the surplus does. And in general, life works like this. Tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. We go through a skills development phase where you would get your education sorted out, you then get skills training in the job that you're going to do, and eventually you settle down in your job, and your career path follows a point where you would peak at the pinnacle of what your ability is. And if you're one of those fortunate few, you might end up as the big boss of a company, earning a big whack of a salary with benefits, etc., etc. And the point is that at that point in your career where you've basically reached what you can, you might stay and do that job because society has taught you that you need to work for as long as you can, saving for your retirement, because your retirement is what, and your pension is what's going to look after you in your old age. Okay, so at some point in your career, you start your investment phase. This is where you start buying your property or investing in your pension, and that's, I think, half the problem is that most of us, I know I was one of them. I'd worked for companies my entire working career, and the company always put money towards my pension scheme. That's how we worked in South Africa, and you'd get to a retirement age, which I'm now fast approaching, and you will live on your pension. That's it, bottom line. We always feel that we sorted, basically. The company's paying towards my pension, I'm cool, everything's hunky-dory. The point is, you're not actually cool, and I'm going to show you in this presentation why you're not actually cool. The company's involvement in your retirement is as limited as they can get away with. That's the reality of it. The company's first and foremost priority is not to make you the wealthiest retiree or pensioner that there can be. Your pension contribution is a means for them to secure you as an employer. This is one of the benefits they offer, besides things like your petrol card and your cell phone allowance and the fact that they might or might not give you a company vehicle. Those are all part of the negotiation in your employment, and one of the aspects of that employment is the fact that they contribute towards your pension. It's not their priority to make your pension as wealthy as it can be. That's counterproductive in their profits, as far as I'm concerned. But the fallacy is that we believe that what the company does for us, we've been earning a pension for our whole working career, and then one bright sunny day, 5 or 7 years into our retirement, once we now started spending all this money that we earned, we start to find, well, things are starting to come under the pinch. And that's what I think I'm going to illustrate in this presentation, and make you actually understand why that becomes a problem. And this is something that you need to consider. And as an affiliate, this is the message that you're trying to get across to everybody that you know, those people that you care about. I mean, let's ask ourselves why it is that we would not offer this to all the people that we care about. And some of us care about everybody, and some of us only care about our immediate family, and some of us care about nobody but ourselves. The bottom line is, if you care about one other person, how can you not present them with an opportunity that can help them lead a better pensionable life, or create wealth that they may spend maybe the last 25 years of their lives rather than the last 8 years of their lives living comfortably? If you care about people, you have to do this. You have to give them this opportunity. And I think if you understand it from that perspective, that you're not actually trying to sell somebody anything, because this is the message that most people come across receiving, is that what are you trying to sell me now? You're trying to get me involved in these cryptocurrencies and blah blah blah, and that's where half the rejection comes from. The point is, you're not selling anything. You're offering information for somebody to make a judgment call onto whether this is something that they would rather hedge their pension on than the existing system they use. And if you understand what this entire offering is about, and that it is an offer of information rather than something that you're trying to sell, people start to treat you differently. The message you're bringing across is something completely differently. And if you really truly believe that this is a decent system to work with, then you will say it with more conviction when you talk to people, and they'll listen to you more. Don't you think? So the message you put across is not some elaborate scheme to make shitloads of money, because that switches people off, or they listen with half an ear, or they're still concentrating on the train of thought they had when you raised this point. But if you put it across as something that they cannot ignore because it involves their old age, and this is a really good system to use, you might actually get some more attention from people. Just thought it might be something important that you might just bear in mind. So this is why the system fails, because you'll spend your entire working career growing an investment, all right, and works with compounded interest if you're lucky, which it should. And this type of investment could be the fact that you investing in an existing retirement annuity or a pension scheme or some other investment portfolio of stuff. I know that people invest in properties. Well, that's fine if you're investing in properties, but only if the property is growing, or you're investing in the property so that at your retirement age you don't have to rent anything and you're now living bond free or mortgage free, that you don't have the expense of your housing where you would live. Okay. The problem is that what happens is the cost of living rises, and these facts and figures are abundantly available on Google. I mean, this is where I found this information. I was just exploring how the cost of living gets affected by how the world actually behaves right now. And some of the statistics that came out of that research was just mind-blowing. I mean, it's fact. There's no getting away from it. The depreciation of currencies, quantitative easing, the way the reserve banks or the central banks of the world, of each country, just keep printing to stimulate growth. They just keep printing currency. They just keep printing dollars and pounds, or whatever the case is that they do. And the more they pump into the market, the less valuable that money becomes, or the less buying power that money has. Here's a perfect example. Since 1913, the US dollar's purchasing power has lost 95% of its value. Now, did you know that? This is the States. This is America's buying power. This is the standard of all currencies, has lost 95% of its buying power since 1913. And you ask yourself, well, how is that possible? Well, if you understand the mechanism of how the systems actually work, and I would highly advise that you go and watch Mike Maloney as a video channel or a YouTube channel, and on there, or just Google The Hidden Secrets of Money. There's a series, I think, of 8 or 9 videos, very short, animated type videos that explain it. They're brilliant videos to watch. They're captivating to watch. Even if anything else, that you actually just understand how world economics works and how it affects you on your daily basis. And it relates to what I'm trying to explain to you now. Go and watch the Mike Maloney videos series on the hidden secrets of money. So, in essence, what's actually going on here now, and this is why everything becomes a problem, is that you spend your life earning a retirement wealth, okay? And it would peak at a point at the day that you go into retirement. And after that point, because the devaluation of the buying power of what you actually own starts to decline, and the cost of living keeps going up, at some point that cost of living will exceed what your pension can actually maintain. So this is why you would find, and now I'll ask you, go and speak to your grandparents, go and speak to your parents, speak to people that are living on retirement, and ask them how that's working out for them. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to be in the pinch, but ask yourself, if these people had to live an additional 10 years, would they actually still maintain the same kind of lifestyle? Would they still feel comfortable with what their pension payout, or their government pension, whether it's a private pension or a government pension? Do these things actually keep trend or keep track and exceed what the cost of living actually is? Will it be able to maintain itself until the day they die? And most likely you'll find the answer is no. So a couple of simple little facts that you might want to understand. 35% of income in poorer households is spent on food, whereas in middle class houses 10% of their income is spent on food. Okay, but on average, food prices worldwide have increased by 59% over the last decade. Now, it varies between countries that actually produce their own food versus those that predominantly import more food than they produce. So those numbers would change, but the average is 59%. So if 59% is increased on 35% of what you spend, basically of your income, you can see how that problem is just going to get progressively worse, is that the 35% will become 40% down the line, and eventually it will be 50%. And if your pension's not growing at the same rate, you'll end up spending more money just on food, never mind anything else, your transportation, your medication, whatever the case is. So it's an important little number to keep in mind. 170 million people that are employable currently sit unemployed. That's a statistic that is really scary. At what point might that actually happen to somebody you know, or yourself for that matter, where you are fully employable, but society just doesn't have a place for you as a job? Now, that's a bleak story, and I didn't really want to bring it up, but the point is, imagine if that had to happen to you now. If you lost your job, what is your fallback? What is your protection? How do you prevent yourself from coming completely unstuck in your financial affairs? What have you done to prevent that? So, another fact, in first world countries, 6 to 8% of income is steered towards retirement planning. But statistics show that 12 to 17% in first world countries is required. So, in general, what it tells me basically is that more people are unprepared for their retirement than they should be. They think they're on the right path, but in fact they're not. And it's because nobody's doing proper homework to understand whether their retirement funding at the day they start their retirement will actually preserve their wealth and living standard until the day they die. And 42% of people living in poorer countries have no access to retirement funds. That's just a totally shocking statistic. This is information I got. This is from Stanford University Center of Longevity. Americans are not financially prepared for living longer lives. This is what they found. And if you think you're safe with property, well, the Aberdeen Standard Investment Research Institute has downgraded its global growth forecast amid subdued activity data and rising political and policy uncertainty. And as a result, their projections no longer incorporate a re-acceleration in the global market as far as the growth of property values are concerned. Now, that does vary in different countries, but in general, this is what they say. And this is not something that was posted 15 years ago. This is a recent study that was done. Bear that in mind if you think your property investment is the one that's going to save you at the end of the day. I'm not saying it won't. I'm saying it might not. Be prepared. Okay? And because of deflationary behavior that continues, and the fact that the buying power of most currencies in the world keep losing their strength, what it actually effectively means, and what this chart is actually showing, is that the GDP per capita growth, and this is on a worldwide basis, is on a decline. Which means, simply put, what you're earning today is not going to be worth the same as what you're earning tomorrow. With or without your increase, the buying power of your money will decrease. So just keep that in mind. So in summary, quickly now, this is the essence of it. Fiat currencies have lost immense purchasing power due to various factors. The cost of living will continue to rise as long as deflationary buying power is eroded in your currencies. The property markets are flat or declining and depending on the location. Just for a matter of interest, what do you think you earn? Do you know what you earn for any cash that's sitting in your bank account at the moment? You know you're earning interest, but do you know how much? And is that number something that will make you feel comfortable, having understood what I've just said now in the last 5 minutes of this video? Is it something that makes you feel comfortable that leaving your cash in the bank is something that's going to make you wealthy? And retirement is becoming a real issue, and it demands some careful planning. And that's basically the essence of what I'm trying to say in this video. So what do we desire actually regarding our future wealth? What is ideal? What do we want from our future wealth? Well, whatever we invest in now continues to grow. That's what we want. We want continuous growth of our retirement investment. We want a shield against global financial collapse. Now, if you think that's not going to happen, I would suggest you go and watch something like James Ricard's video series. He's written 4 books on it, and he explains to you perfectly well what's coming and why this is going to collapse. And if you're doing it on YouTube, you'll find another 6,000 videos related to the same subject, different people with different views. And these are very well learned, very well connected people that understand their global markets properly. And the message they put out is that a financial collapse is virtually imminent. Now, my question is, when that happens, are you shielded against that? Do we not require less interference from government and banking institutions that erode portions of our investments? Now, I'm not saying that what the governments do is bad. We need taxes. Taxes are what make the machine work. But if there are instances where you can legally avoid paying tax, would you not want to look at those? I'm not saying break the law by any means. There's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is the legal version of not paying taxes when you don't have to. It's being smart about how you do certain things that are legally not subject to tax payments. Transactions at banks. If you could do transactions in a way that didn't actually incur the costs that banks demand, and I'm not saying the banks are wrong in demanding their payment, they employ people that need to earn salaries, and there are shareholders that need to earn dividends. So they have to have streams of income, and interest is one of them, transaction fees is another. So, but if there were mechanisms in place that you could avoid those kind of costs, would you not want to use them? Those would be ideal. You need a secure and easy way to create, secure, distribute, and spend your wealth. Okay, that's ultimately what we're getting to in this little presentation, and a system that excites us to pay more attention to our future wealth. Okay, I think this is the most important. Like I said earlier, most of us work for companies that are comfortably paying towards your pension. You feel like everything's in place. You've done it diligently. You've never extracted any money from those investments that the company's made on your behalf, or that you've made with the company, however that works for you. And as far as you're concerned, everything's fine. But now I'll give you a system that actually excites you to go and find more means and ways to invest in your future. I'll give you a mechanism, or I'll give you a system that puts you in a position where you start looking around at the stuff that you own. I know I do this. My wife and I do this religiously now, where we start with the garage, and you go and find all the crap that's been lying in your garage, rusting away, losing value, causing more dust than anything else, and there's value lying there. And it might be worth $5,000, and you know full well, if I had to sell this on whatever platform I tried, I'd only most likely get 1,000. So in your mind, you're not prepared to lose the 4,000. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. If you could take the 1,000 that somebody would be willing to pay you and turn that into 50,000, why would you not be prepared to lose the 4,000? You can keep it in the garage, and 10 years from now it'll be worth, if you're lucky, you're going to get $500 for it, or whatever the case is, or rand, whatever. I'm just using numbers here. But so if I gave you a mechanism that excited you about offloading all the wasted wealth that you actually sit on, the wasted cash flow that you could create, and go and offload all the rubbish that you've been hanging on to for God knows what reason, and turn that into something that helps your retirement work better. Wouldn't that be ideal? Isn't that what you want? Well, hopefully this is one of those things. So yes, if you're a Karatbars affiliate, you know we're dealing with gold. If you're an investor type person that's heard nothing about the company Karatbars, well, you know that gold is a good investment. It's got a proven track record longer than anything we know, to be honest. It's as old as the pyramids, and its value has always maintained. Its buying power has never changed. And we have old gold, ancient gold that still exists today, and we have modern gold in all different shapes and sizes, and the buying power of gold. Yes, the price does fluctuate, but the trend of gold over the last 5,000 years has always been one of growth, and that's where the security lies in this precious metal. So I'm sure you've heard this a million times on any videos that you might have watched or anything, but in 1971 Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and with it created the inflationary mechanisms that we enjoy today in our fiat currencies, and that's where the problem has started. And if you look at the price of gold, when he did that, it has progressively just grown from strength to strength to strength. Yet if you put that against the Dow and you saw the money market versus the gold market, two different curves. Now, why is that? Well, because the one preserves its buying power and the other doesn't. That's it in a short and sweet little explanation. Now, if you don't understand what that means, well, in simple terms, this is what it means. 1 kilogram of gold in 1920 was worth $645. It could buy you the latest Model T Ford car. Now, that same kilo of gold today will buy you the latest SUV Ford model at 40,000. The thing is, $645, had you held on to it as currency or as money, would not have bought you anything. I don't think you can buy a set of tires for a Ford at this point in time, in today's time. But the illustration says clearly what it is that we're actually meaning by the buying power of gold and its preservation of its actual value. So what would be an ideal way to make use of gold? Most of us couldn't afford a kilogram of gold. I'd like to say the vast majority of us could not afford to go and buy a kilogram of gold. But if you were part of a company that could sell you 0.01 gram of gold, that's a different story, isn't it? So the ideal way to make use of gold is to have access to very small and affordable amounts of it, and Karatbars offers that. Have a secure way of storing it for future generations. Well, they vault it for you. Your coin that you buy to get access to the gold, or whether you buy it directly and buy gold directly, you've got choices with them. That value sits in their system and they store it for you. You have a ledger that records your ownership. It's your own personal access to the system. It's your page. It's like your personal bank account with your current fiat banking system. It's your ledger of records. You have means to transact and transfer the gold bullion to anybody on earth. You can send gold from point A to point B to your cousin that's in Iceland, or your uncle that's living in Australia, and the transfer of whatever wealth you have, you can send in whatever denominations you want, whether you wanted to do it in actual fiat currency, whether you wanted to do it in actual physical bullion gold, or the crypto coin that represents what this is. You can do it in any way you want. You can spend it like fiat, US dollars, euros, pounds, whatever. You can acquire as much and as often as you want. Nobody's saying that you have to buy on a monthly basis. Nobody says that your once-off purchase, if you don't maintain a regular payment on it, it's not a case. This is why we're not selling you anything. We're selling you the means to preserve your wealth, and you can do that however you choose to. You can do it on a daily basis. You can do it on a weekly, a monthly, however often you feel you need to. And it's a system that you can trust. It's a company that understands exactly what gold trading is all about and the preservation of wealth with gold. They've been doing this since 2011, selling small denominations of gold. They understand the gold market as good as anybody else does. They own their own gold mines for obvious reasons. And why would you not want to do it with a company that can offer you everything around how you would transact, store, create, and spend gold-related product? Physical gold or coin. Why would you not do that? So the perfect solution is to align your investment with a company that actually owns and mines their own gold. Surely. You would be dealing with a company that thinks ahead and sets the pace for the fourth industrial revolution. The information technology is the fourth industrial revolution. Everybody wants access to data. Everybody wants access to information. That's the revolution. And they as far ahead in the game as anybody else in this market. In fact, there are two products that they do that is ahead of the game. I'll explain those to you in a minute. So find a company that has an interest in your future, that values the security of your wealth. This company doesn't just help you create it, they help you secure it, and I'll show you why I say this. You would deal with a company that will simplify the way you transact and store your wealth. Okay, this is on their trading platforms, this is in their vaulting system, this is on your dashboard of ledger of accounts. They simplify how you would transact and store. And you would be partnering with a company that knows the gold industry with a proper growth history. And find one company that can hold your hand down the path of financial freedom, because that's exactly what they do. This, I think, is their strongest selling point, if you want to call it. This company understands gold, they understand your future wealth, they understand financial freedom. This is what they're creating for the masses. And it's one company with one idea and one ecosystem. And that to me says a lot about how this company is going forward. And this is who they are. It's a visionary company creating, distributing, and preserving tangible wealth with mankind's oldest and most trusted precious metal. This is the CEO and founder, Dr. Harold Seitz. And you might want to Google his name and see some of the stuff that he's put out and his understanding of world wealth and who he is. He's a member of the Economic Council in Germany. He's a senator of the Global Economic Network. He's been around the block. This guy knows what he's talking about. He's been running this gold trading company since 2011. So this is some of the product. This is one of them. This is cash gold. This is gold bullion embedded in transactable notes. You can go to a cash exchange machine and convert coin into gold notes. They have embedded various size portions of 24 karat pure bullion gold in them. If this is what you want from the company, you would convert your coin into gold, get the gold shipped to you, and store it in your own vault, in a safety deposit box, whatever you choose, or you leave it with the company to store it for you. They have their own payment system. This is Karatpay. It rivals the PayPals, any of the trading platform systems that you would do payments. This is what it rivals. It's linked to MasterCard. They have their own coin. This will become a KBC mainnet coin on the 15th of December. You might want to ask your affiliate or your upline to explain to you what's going to happen with hard fork. If you don't know yourself, I'll put a link in the description of a video that I posted a week and a half ago about how the hard fork would work, and make you understand what this coin, what's going to happen to this coin, and how that's going to affect certain values to what you're actually buying now. I'll put that in the description and you can have a look at that video as well. So they've designed the first voice over blockchain cell phone, K1 Impulse. This is one of the devices I was saying the company has produced to help you secure your wealth, never mind trade it. The software that comes on this phone is unhackable. It works over the blockchain. So just as a product, you own one of the various makes of cell phones in the market at the moment. How protective are those products for your wealth? I mean, somebody accesses your bank account through your phone while you're on it. Not a good idea. At least with this phone, that can't happen. I mean, just buy the damn phone if you want to protect your wealth. And along with that one, they've got a compatible laptop, personal computer. Works on the same principle. So much like Apple, these two devices talk to each other. This is the product I was talking about that will help you secure your wealth. So they don't just help you create the wealth, they help you secure it. How cool is that? This, I personally haven't seen one of the actual machines physically. I know there are, I think, 4 in my country at the moment. Whether that's exactly what they look like, I've seen a couple of pictures of different machines that look slightly different. I am sorry to say I haven't actually seen the exact machine, but this is one of the machines that you would just transact, and it would spit out gold notes with gold embedded in them, what they call a CEM machine, cash gold exchange machine. They have their own blockchain called Karatnet. So all the immutable, unhackable technology that goes with blockchain, they own their own version of it. So this is part of the ecosystem to secure and to transact and to keep the fees down and to make everything possible with their own manufactured devices. This is their wallet. You would have a Binance wallet, you would have a Coin Super wallet, you would have whatever other, if you're in the crypto sphere, well, this is their version called Karatbit. And what I think is one of the future gems of what this company has to offer is this software called K-Merchant, which is a crypto trading platform. It's an app that you would put on a smartphone, a tablet, Android, iOS, doesn't matter. And it would allow a merchant, you would create a merchant account, and you would be able to accept cryptocurrency and secure the payment of that crypto directly into your fiat currency, into your local fiat currency. The system uses its own artificial intelligence to go and find the proper deal on any of the other platforms, secure the trade. What I mean is, somebody wants to buy a car off you, you're a merchant with this software, he comes there with a Bitcoin and he's buying a second-hand vehicle for $8,000 and he gives you 1 Bitcoin. This software then secures the $8,000 in fiat. It might not pay it to you immediately. Just like your credit card transaction, that money doesn't reflect in your bank account immediately, not always. Give or take a couple of days, and all the fiat currency then gets consolidated out of those transactions and gets paid into your fiat bank account. No different. The difference here is that it does it with crypto, and this will help the adoption of cryptocurrency trading, all of cryptocurrency trading. It will help that adoption rate to skyrocket, because at the moment, very few retailers or dealers are prepared to accept cryptocurrency because they have to hang on to it and convert it into fiat themselves. And by the time they get to do that, if you look at the volatility of some of the trades that have happened on, or the pricing that's changed, just Bitcoin itself, I mean, in 2 hours, 5 hours, it can lose $700 in an instant. Now, that's very volatile. This software will take away that volatility and create massive adoption as far as I'm concerned. So in a nutshell, basically, you've got a complete universe or an ecosystem that trades digital bullion, actual bullion, fiat, cryptocurrencies securely on its own blockchain, on its own platforms as one. This is a company that understands gold, has digitized how it gets transacted and stored and how the wealth would be created. One company. And the nice thing is that if you have an issue, you pick up the phone and you phone somebody. Now, if you're holding on to Bitcoin or any of those other alternative cryptocurrencies, if you've got an issue, there are very few avenues you can use to actually help you solve a problem. If you do something wrong on one of your wallet transactions, you basically bug it. At least with a company like this that does it all, there's a lot less security issues that you have to deal with, or mistakes that you would make. And I mean, I'm sure you would make them. I mean, haven't we all made mistakes? But at least, yeah, you can pick up the phone, you can send an email, and you can get somebody to come back to you and give you a solution. So, in essence, if we talk about gold to the masses, this is an entire ecosystem and methodology of Karatbars system, offers simple and secure access to the most precious metal on earth in small denominations for the masses, creating the world's first modern personalized gold standard. That's how I see this company. That's what it is. I want my own mini gold standard. I want to preserve my wealth, whatever I've created over the years. I want to be able to preserve it, that nothing can help destroy it, not some global crisis. That, I think, is reason enough to actually have a look at what's going on here. So that's it from me. Like I said, I'll put the link to how the hard fork would happen. It comes with a spreadsheet. It'll show you how that works. If you're not an existing affiliate and one of the Karatbars guys has actually shown you this video, or trying desperately to get you to understand, I would suggest that you go back to them and make a point of dragging them. Maybe they're not as keen or as convinced about this as what you might be from this video or your own research. If you are an existing affiliate, be careful what message you're trying to bring across to your prospects, to your family, to your friends. If you say the wrong thing from the word go, you could cost yourself and cost them some serious future wealth. So, and if you've never heard of Karatbars and you're wanting to know more, my email address is in the description of this YouTube video. By all means, send me a video. If you're after the spreadsheet that comes with the other video, I'll happily send that to you. This is something I think you should really pay attention to. Your old age is no joke. You know, we have a saying in South Africa, old age is not for sissies. So why not make it more fun, more exciting? You know, isn't that what life is about? Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Enjoy.